Good evening. So tonight's walk and talk video, as usual, I'm with the stars of the show, Max. Say hello, Max. Max, speak. Speak. Oh, I'll take it. And wee Breeze, who's just too busy chasing bees. Tonight's walk and talk video is about the subject: should you allow your dog to run up to strange dogs? Going to be unpopular and give you the short answer right here and now. No, I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. So let's kind of break that down a bit. So you allow your dog to run up to a strange dog in the park, and it all goes well, and there's a lovely playful interaction. Your dog's exhausted after it, which is great. You can kind of chill out and watch Netflix tonight because your dog's just absolutely conked out, so you're quite happy. What can happen for your dog is that it ran up to a strange dog. It was very, very exciting for it. It had a whale of a time. Endorphins were released. Oxytocin was released. Now, there's a key point there. So oxytocin is a chemical in the brain that's an addictive chemical. So we're all kind of addicted to things that we're pleasurable and we enjoy, as is your dog. So where are you going? Oh, they're just right behind me. So therefore, what happens with the positive interactions is your dog becomes addicted to them. And in other words, it becomes addicted to not you. And it can become addicted to, basically your dog becomes addicted to ignoring you completely because other things are much more exciting and much more pleasurable. You then end up with a dog who basically, you shout, "Fido, come," and Fido just completely ignores you. Yeah, because other things are much more exciting, and then your dog starts running up to other people and other dogs, and you've just kind of lost control of your dog. So I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can't do it, but you've got to do it in a very controlled manner to be able to keep control of your dog, which is really, really important, and to respect other dog owners and to respect other people who will be using the same areas as you do. So for that would be a positive interaction scenario. Other interactions that are possible as well is your dog runs up to a reactive dog, which is probably on a leash or a long chain line. In that scenario, the owners I work with have worked very, very hard on reducing the dog's reactivity. And you can literally, start to unpick literally months, or even possibly for some dogs years of hard work that those owners have put in by allowing that, because it sets off the reactive dog. So that's not great for them. And if you're a good, responsible dog owner, you'll be out with your dog and you'll see people with their dogs on the leash or dog on the leash, and you'll leash up your dog and let them go by. That's the right and responsible thing to do. Let's put another scenario. And I get this quite a lot. So as a reactive dog specialist, I get owners saying, "I realise it's been me that's been the problem. I've been allowing them to play with all the dogs in the park, etc. And what's happened is the other dogs, or there's been a bit of something's kicked off, right? And your own dog therefore learns that maybe not all the dog interactions are good. It starts to become a bit scared, a bit fearful, and it becomes fear-based reactive. And that can be a lifelong issue for you. So what I'm saying here, I guess, is your default position when you're out walking your dog and being a responsible dog owner is do not allow your dog to run up to other dogs, particularly if they're on leash. They're on leash for a reason. If you want to introduce your dog to strange dogs, there's ways to go about it. And your first premise should be to request of the other owner, is it okay? And unless you've clearly got that, then it's not okay. But what you will face is some owners going, "Yeah, my dog's fine," and the dog isn't actually fine. So in order for your dog to interact with other dogs, it's good if you've got a good understanding of what good play likes. You know how to intervene when it's not going so well, and you understand dog body language. So otherwise you're in danger of creating situations that you really don't want to find yourself in. So and with that control, you want to ask your dog for a sit or a down before it's allowed to. So in other words, if you're saying to your dog, if you control yourself, you can get your play. But if in any doubt, just avoid it. The other scenario is there's a technique called parallel walking, which isn't really walking in parallel, so don't just walk in parallel. You're probably better working with a dog trainer to understand how to do that properly and introduce strange dogs properly. Certainly, I've got my two dogs here. You can see they're walking along and they're quite happy with each other. Max, when he was young, was a very, very reactive dog, and then we got Breeze, but I introduced them very carefully and I introduced them in the right way, and then they live together. So, you know, it's not an easy thing to do to introduce a reactive dog to a strange dog, and certainly if your dog's not reactive, then you probably shouldn't take it lightly either. So I know I'm going to be a bit unpopular with this, but I just kind of want to get the point out there, is it's not okay, just particularly if the other dog's on a leash, to allow your dog to run up to strange dogs. And you know, it kind of came to mind tonight. The last client I was with, we were in a local park, and I was with there was a couple. So one person had the reactive dog, and they were great control, and a bundle of dogs had just walked by. They'd done great work with this dog. And then, you know, the dog had showed a lot of self-control, was quite calm, and allowed the other dogs to go by. There was some great reactivity going on. I won't go into the detail just now. And then I saw that group of dogs that went by, a gentleman who had allowed his dog to run right into the group of dogs, quite a young dog. And one of the group of dogs, they were all under good control, they're under leash. He allowed his off-leash dog to run in, and it all started to kick off a bit. And one of the dogs in the group was kind of reacted to the situation. So I said to the one of the owners, right, take her away, you know. And then the other owner stood in, and they actually handled it really, really well. And they were very polite, they were very nice, and said, would you mind putting your dog on a leash, because we've got a reactive dog here. And the guy, let's just say he was reactive. In fact, he was aggressive. He became threatening and abusive because he was absolutely determined that his dog was allowed to run up to on-leash dogs, and that was okay. And it's just not okay, you know. And these guys have worked really, really hard on reactivity. Now, luckily, we're much further down the line, so the dog's a lot more resilient than when we started that work. But it wasn't a good situation, you know, and, you know, the person's, what's called attitude towards the situation was not helpful either. So that's an example that just happened. So you really just, please do not allow your dog to run up to strange dogs, particularly if they're on a lead. They're on a lead for a reason. They could have a medical issue, the person could be training their dog, it could be reactive, etc, etc. So big plea out there. Hopefully everybody can kind of get a bit from this and understand a better picture of what responsible dog ownership looks like, and then that would make things better for everybody, you know, and we'll have less reactive dogs.